Hello, fellow Murdlers. Today is Friday, April 12th, 2024, and it's a great day to solve a murder. Today we have, but what about the murder that was at a farmer's market? And we have three 5x5 grids with suspects, locations, and weapons. We will have a red murder clue today. The murder took place at a farmer's market. All right, kind of in line with the title, so that makes sense. So we can say the where is the... Oh, I believe it's the town square. I think I know this from a previous puzzle, but let's go ahead. We'll flip through our cards and we'll make sure that's correct. So first, let's go through our suspects. We have Dean Glaucus, Grandmaster Rose, Sir Rulian, Earl Grey, and Judge Pine. Our weapons today are an antique flintlock, yarn, a bottle of cyanide, a chessboard, and a chainsaw. And the locations, let's go ahead and click into these so we can see a bit more. We have the ancient ruins, nothing about a farmer's market. New development. Again, nothing about a farmer's market. Quaint garden, no. Town square, and here we go, there's a farmer's market. So we know that the murder took place at the town square. And then finally we have the manor house. So let me go ahead and confirm this. The town square is our murder location today, and we'll use our detective's notebook and our clues and evidence to figure out who was in the town square and what weapon they had. Alrighty, let's go ahead and dive into our clues and evidence. Starting off with an either or clue, we're going to come back to this later. Let's see, we've had a lot of those this week, but yes, this one is something we can come back to later. The antique flintlock was left-handed only, so what that tells us is that for this weapon here, the antique flintlock, it can only belong to a suspect that it was left-handed. So let's flip through our suspects and see who is left-handed. Dean Glaucus is right-handed. Grandmaster Rose is a possible suspect. They are left-handed. Sir Rulian is right-handed, Earl Grey is right-handed, Judge Pine, and we're back at Dean Glaucus. So this is great. We know that only Grandmaster Rose could have had the antique flintlock, so we can go ahead and put that in there. And we also actually can come back to our either or clue because this was about Grandmaster Rose's weapon, and now we know Grandmaster Rose's weapon was the antique flintlock and not a chessboard. So that places yarn in the manor house. So we can go back and do that. Yarn, and I believe this is the manor house. Yes, okay. All right, so 2-for-1 deal there, pretty nice. Now that also tells us that Grandmaster Rose was not in the manor house, so we can put that in as well. Okay, so we know that a Virgo had a chessboard, so let's go ahead and flip through, see who our Virgos are. We have Dean Glaucus, and that's it. So a lot of deterministic ones today, which is great. So Dean Glaucus had the chessboard and, oops, set that back there. And then we also know Dean Glaucus was similarly not in the manor house because that would require Dean Glaucus to have the yarn. So the only three that could be in the manor house at this point are Sir Rulian, I believe is this. Yeah, Earl Grey and Judge Pine because they were the only ones available to have the ball of yarn. All right, a lightweight weapon was found in the quaint garden. All right, so let's look through our weapons. Medium weight, lightweight, so it could be the yarn, except we know that's in a different spot. Bottle of cyanide is lightweight, the chessboard is heavyweight, and the chainsaw is heavyweight. So because we have two lightweight weapons, the yarn and the bottle of cyanide, but we already have the location for the yarn. So that means that the bottle of cyanide must have been in the quaint garden. And we can fill in additional information there. Well, actually, I guess we can't because we already know that these two weren't there because they, or well, no, we can, yeah. So we can add 2 more no's to the locations for these two, Dean Glaucus and Grandmaster Rose. Okay, so now we're gonna figure out who did have the cyanide in the garden with this fingerprint clue. So you can see kind of like this distinct pattern here. Let's see. That is Earl Grey. We've got kind of like that half cut off swirl here. So Earl Grey was in the quaint garden with the bottle of cyanide. So we can go ahead and mark that in for Earl Grey. And we'll put in the location as well. Great. Okay, so now we've got an anagram. A pawn was discovered amongst, I think. And then let's see. amongst, and then I'm going to assume these are something. Okay, so we're looking for a pawn. And we know that it could be in any of these locations. So let's look at these cards. Anything that kind of uses these letters here. I see 2 U's, so that's kind of interesting. Crumbling statues. I don't think that's it. Yeah, it is actually crumbling statues. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, so a pawn was discovered amongst crumbling statues. And again, if the anagram isn't coming to you really quickly, I always like to go check kind of through the possible locations or whatever it's referring to. It's not always referring to a location, but I like to look through those and just see if there's any words that kind of like jog that connection there. And again, if you're ever stuck with those, you really can't get them. There's a lot of solvers online, so you can always just like throw it into Google or something like that, and you'll be able to find a solution that way as well. Okay, so we've got the chess set in the ancient ruins, so we can also then put Dean Glaucus in the ancient ruins. All right, whoever was at the new development had blue eyes. Okay, so let's just check out, we already have, I guess we don't. Okay. Brown eyes for Grandmaster Rose, blue eyes for Cerulean. We already know where Earl Grey was, so that won't be our option. And then brown eyes for Judge Pine. So of the 2 suspects for whom we don't have a location, only one of them, that's Cerulean, has blue eyes. So we can say Cerulean was at the new development. Okay, and that leaves only Judge Pine as the possible person for the manor house. All right, and then by process of elimination, we will find that Grandmaster Rose was at the town square, which is of course where our farmers market was being held. So that means that Grandmaster Rose was our murderer today. And then let's see, do we have, yes, we have these, so I'll just fill these in really quickly. So that just gave Judge Pine the ball of yarn because they were in the manor house, and it gave Cerulean the chainsaw because they're at the new development. All right. There is our solve. So we have Grandmaster Rose with an antique flintlock in the town square. And let's go ahead and see if we were right. All right, we were right. Thanks so much for playing along with me today. I hope this was a helpful walkthrough, and we'll see you tomorrow.